So let's wrap up our new REST API here. We have a REST API running on production. And yes, there are a few things I didn't show you, like setting up Azure, working with Azure, but that's not for me to do. But I will, if you put it in the comments, you really need information here, I'll try and make some lessons about it in Series 5, because my students, they already know from another teacher how to do this, so I don't want to spend time there. That's why that's not in there. We haven't talked security. A huge thing when you're working REST API is security, but again, it's not my area. So right now another teacher is also looking at that, but I will maybe look at a security setup later in Series 5 as well if I find the time. It's not that complex. I found a few great guys to do that. Another thing we didn't talk about is unit testing. I will definitely make a series about that later in Series 5 about how to make unit tests, how to work with unit tests. So we'll have a look at that. What I really hope you guys can do, if you go to Azure, get a student account, if you have any chance to actually deploy this, it would be cool to do that, so we can actually, instead of using Postman with the localhost, we could try and use Angular right here and actually go and grab real data from our real REST API. Let me just do this the right way. There we go. So from Angular, we could actually go and talk to a real REST API in production. But if you don't have that, it's not a problem. We'll just use localhost and we'll just figure out how to get through a few issues you will get with localhost if you use it actually that way. But it doesn't matter. If you don't have a live production REST API, you can even go and watch my next series anyway. You'll just work with a local host. And if you do have a production ready setup like I do right here, you'll just be a happy gopher and you can actually go and work with Angular directly through your real new production ready REST API. So we're going to do that. And notice right now we have it on Azure with the REST server, and also the database is on Azure on its own. So we're happy. And you learn a lot that we don't actually, for that sake, needs for a real REST API. I used a lot of layers here. That's not required. It just makes our code easier to write later. I talked a bit about the production code. I talk about how you can make something that's more secure to make your larger applications later on. So that's all in the box now, out of the way. Next lesson, let's start looking at Angular. Yeah, we need to start making the front end for this. And there I have some bad news for my sake. Actually, I think it's the 23rd or something of this month, which is in 6 days from now. They're actually going to launch Angular 5. And my book and everything I'm going to work with here is actually Angular 4. So we're going to make an update of Angular just to give you guys kind of a cliffhanger there. Another thing I'm going to do later on within 1 or 2 months is I'm actually going to also make a video about something else called Ionic. So I'm going to make an entire series about Ionic, spelled something like this, Ionic. And that's actually for making phone apps with Angular code. Yay! So that's also going to be a series, and that's also going to talk to the REST API I just built here. So you can go and watch the previous series or a future series about that. I think I need to stop it now. There's so much I want to tell the world. There's so much I want to teach you guys, but I just don't have enough time. So I also know there's a lot of this that you can kind of say that's wrong, that's right. You can discuss it. That's a cool thing about software. A lot of this is good, and a lot of this is could be better. A lot of it is perfect. A lot of it could be even more perfect. I don't know. Figure it out. Try to play around with this. Get to know how you want to write your code, and see you all in the next series about Angular. Have fun. Bye bye.